The Dove and the Ant, a story of kindness and gratitude. Moral: a good deed always comes back to you. Deciduous tree. Once upon a time, in a quiet green forest, far away from the noise of cities, there lived a tiny ant. Her home was a small anthill at the foot of an old banyan tree. Every morning when the golden rays of the sun kissed the treetops, the little ant would step out for her daily journey, searching for food to store for the rainy days. The forest that morning was fresh and peaceful. The rain from the night before had washed every leaf, and drops of water sparkled like pearls in the soft sunlight. The air smelled sweet, a mix of wet earth, wildflowers, and the freshness of dew. Birds chirped happily, butterflies fluttered above the flowers, and the forest seemed alive with joy. The ant walked slowly along the roots of trees, humming a tiny tune to herself. She was hardworking but cheerful, and she always believed that every day brought new hope and adventure. After walking for a while, she reached the edge of a river. The water was crystal clear, so clear that she could see her reflection dancing in the ripples. The gentle flow made a soft, soothing sound as it touched the rocks and plants along the shore. Feeling thirsty after her long walk, the little ant bent down to take a sip. But just as she leaned forward, her tiny foot slipped on a wet stone. Droplet the struggle. "Ah!" cried the ant as she fell straight into the cold, rushing water. The current was strong, and her tiny body was tossed around like a leaf in the wind. "Help! Somebody please help me!" she screamed, but her voice was too small to be heard over the sound of the flowing river. She tried to swim, flailing her legs, but the water was too powerful. Every wave pulled her farther from the shore. Her heart pounded in fear. She thought it was the end. The dove's kindness. Just then, on a tall tree near the riverbank, a white dove sat resting. The dove was gentle and kind-hearted. She spent her days flying freely across the forest, singing songs and helping anyone in need. From her perch high above, she saw the tiny ant struggling helplessly in the water. "Oh no!" the dove gasped. "That poor little creature will drown if I don't do something." Without wasting a moment, the dove plucked a broad green leaf from the tree with her beak. She flew over the river and carefully dropped the leaf close to where the ant was drifting. "Hold on to the leaf, little one," the dove called softly. The ant saw the leaf floating toward her and with all her strength climbed onto it. The leaf rocked gently with the flow of the river, carrying the ant safely toward the shore. When she finally reached dry land, she crawled off the leaf, wet and tired but alive. She looked up at the dove sitting on the tree and called out gratefully, "Thank you, kind dove. You saved my life. I will never forget your goodness." The dove smiled kindly and replied, "I'm glad you're safe, little friend. Always remember, helping others brings happiness to the heart." Days passed by. The days turned into weeks, and both the ant and the dove continued their lives. But their bond of friendship grew stronger. Every morning, the dove would perch on the same branch near the river, and the ant would come out from her anthill to greet her. They talked about the forest, the buzzing bees, the blooming flowers, and the colors of the sunset. Even though one was tiny and lived on the ground, and the other could fly high in the sky, they admired each other deeply. They had learned that true friendship doesn't depend on size, strength, or appearance. It grows from kindness and trust. Some would face the danger. One warm afternoon, the forest was unusually quiet. The dove sat on her favorite branch humming softly, while the ant was busy gathering crumbs near the tree roots. Suddenly, the ant noticed something strange. A hunter was creeping through the bushes nearby. He moved slowly and quietly, his eyes fixed on the dove sitting above. In his hands he held a gun ready to fire. The ant's tiny heart skipped a beat. "Oh no," she whispered. "That man wants to hurt my friend." She looked up at the dove, unaware of the danger, and knew she had to act quickly. Bow and arrow the ant's brave act. Without wasting a second, the brave little ant ran as fast as her tiny legs could carry her toward the hunter. She climbed up his shoe, then his pants, and reached his ankle. Just as the hunter aimed his gun and was about to pull the trigger, the ant bit him hard on his foot. "Oh!" the hunter shouted in pain, jerking his leg. The sudden pain made him lose his aim, and his shot went completely off target. The loud gunshot echoed through the forest, startling all the birds. The dove, frightened by the sound, spread her wings and flew high into the blue sky, safe from harm. From above, she saw the hunter rubbing his foot angrily and limping away. And then she spotted her tiny friend, the ant, standing bravely below. Sparkling heart of friendship forever. When the hunter finally disappeared into the woods, the dove glided back down and landed beside the ant. "You saved me today," said the dove softly. "Because of you I am alive." The ant smiled, her little eyes shining with pride. "You once saved my life, dear dove. Today was my chance to thank you." The dove's heart filled with warmth. "You may be small," she said, "but your heart is greater than any creature I know." Both friends realized something very important that day. Kindness never goes to waste. The good you do for others will always find its way back to you, often when you least expect it. From that day on, the dove and the ant remained the closest of friends. They continued to meet by the river each morning, sharing stories and laughter, reminding everyone in the forest that even the smallest act of goodness can change a life. Blossom moral of the story: a good deed always comes back to you. When you help someone in need, the kindness you give returns to you, sometimes from the same person, sometimes from another, but always when you need it most. Kindness is never wasted. Even the tiniest creature can do the greatest act of love. Please subscribe our YouTube channel for more updates. Thank you so much for watching my video. Okay, we will meet in next video. Okay guys, bye.